Hi everyone, welcome to Active Self-Protection Extra today on John's Briefs with my good friend Terry Johnson from Firearms Legal Protection. And you're gonna have to deal with me with the lighting not being right. Sorry, we're here in the 338 Club and it got to be the afternoon. Deal with me. But today I wanna talk about a recent camera surveillance footage on the main channel where we had a person have a car stolen with a gun in the car. And I want to talk about legal liability once you've had a firearm stolen.
Now more than ever, you need trusted coverage to help you win the fight after the fight. The company I trust and recommend is Firearms Legal Protection. They offer discounts on all their plans at the link in the description. I recommend the premium plan.
So once again, I don't give you a bunch of advance notice on these. I just drop them on you in the moment. And that's part of the fun because now we're having a discussion. And so recent surveillance footage on the camera happened to be an off-duty cop.
Yep, in Detroit.
In Detroit.
Yeah.
Now, why you would be in a gas station in Detroit at 3 o'clock in the morning is beyond me.
Only two reasons, and neither one of them are good.
Neither one of them are good. So, but he got carjacked. Dude got the drop on him, so he gives it up. But it's got a set of body armor.
Yep.
And a gun in it.
I remember that case.
Bad juju, right? Bad juju all the way around. Now, thankfully, they ended up catching the guy a little ways away, recovering his gun. But I think it leads to the bigger question about if I do stupid things like leave guns in my car. Don't do it. Your car is not a holster. But if I do, and the car gets stolen, or somebody breaks into my car and steals a gun out of it, what kind of legal liability do I have for that gun?
Great question. Now, the first thing I believe you should do, and again, this, and I hate the word, depends on what state you're in.
Attorney.
If you're in Washington, I know they've got some things on the books that say you must report, and again, don't quote me on the time frame. I want to say like 5 days. I'm not sure about that in the state of Washington.
Every state here is different. Make sure you check your local laws.
Right.
Because some states have a mandatory reporting of a stolen firearm.
Exactly, and once you report it, that's it. It's done. Anything that happens, if the gun is traced back to you, there's something somewhere that says on January 3rd, this was taken care of, this person reported, and that's it. Hiding it, being afraid to report it to the police, those things never turn out good.
Those are the ways you get in trouble with this, right? I guess I look at it, and I want to know if you think this is right, Terry, that look, if somebody steals my car, I'm not responsible for how they drive that car.
Correct.
They're responsible for their actions with my car. Now, of course, do I want to report this very valuable thing stolen in an attempt to get it back? Yes.
Right.
I don't understand the theory that says, well, if I had a gun stolen, I'm not going to report it to the cops. I mean, I don't know. I guess if you have like a meth lab in your house or something and it gets stolen out of your house, but...
Well, but I mean, I'm with you there. I mean, if there's no problems with the gun, why would you want that on the street to do you harm? Or not do you harm, but do harm to someone else. Because again, you never want to have the question asked of you, why didn't you report this stolen?
Right.
Because now, if I'm an officer and I'm looking at this, I'm going to look at you a little differently and say, should I connect you to this crime that happened a week after this? Why didn't you do this? So instead of becoming I'll use the term a good witness, and what do I mean by witness? Someone that's reported something.
Right.
You now become a
potentially
possible suspect or accomplice. Absolutely.
So I think there's the question. If I don't report the gun stolen, then if the gun gets used in a bad way, and I go, oh yeah, it was stolen out of my truck 6 weeks ago, and you go, why didn't you report it stolen? Well, I don't know, I just didn't. Well, now I as an investigator start going, that sounds like you gave it to a buddy who used it in a bad way, and now I got to see if you're connected to that person.
And you don't want these folks digging into your background more than they have to.
Right.
You know, it's again, there's a time to talk to the police, and there are times not to talk to the police. If you are the, I don't want to say victim of a crime because that opens a huge door there, but if your firearm has been stolen, the proper thing to do is report it as soon as possible. And what do I mean as soon as possible? If it's stolen at 2 o'clock in the morning, should you report it the next morning? Absolutely.
Sure. I mean, you come out to your car and you notice your car's broken into.
Right.
At 7 o'clock in the morning. Call it in, for gracious sakes, you know?
And they'll tell you what to do at that point. Ask you if you've got any paperwork on it, maybe a serial number. If you're in certain states where your firearm has to be registered, they'll put it in the system. So again, I just do not see a benefit of not reporting
I
a
agree.
firearm.
I also
being
think,
stolen.
as a defensive trainer, right, not as an attorney, because again, is it illegal to leave a gun in the car? No, not in most places, but it's stupid. And Greg Ellifritz has talked about this, who 25, I think, year police officer, just retired, and the number one way that guns ended up in the hands of criminals were taking them out of unlocked cars.
Right. Well, and again, it gets down to there are places that we all have that are pistol-free zones where you cannot carry your firearm into.
Right.
You may not have a choice, but as you're saying, if you're going to leave it in a car, put it in a place where it's concealed. In other words, a glove compartment, a trunk,
Something lockable,
something
a
lockable,
little safe.
and lock your door. And that's
dang door.
that's the main thing, you know, because there is a back in Michigan, there is a city right outside of Detroit that just passed a law that says if your gun is taken out of your car and it's not locked, then guess what? You are now in trouble.
Wow, now you've committed a crime.
You've committed a crime. So again, lock the door, do the right things, because you don't want that firearm in the hands of the wrong person.
I think that's a big deal. Number one, if you're going to leave a gun in the car, it should be locked up and the car doors should be locked. Don't be that person. If, God forbid, it gets stolen, report it. Because then that really limits your liability legally, because again, you didn't do anything illegal. The other person did something illegal. You reported the illegal activity, and so you did your due diligence.
And I don't know what liability you could have if you legally have your gun in a car and someone else takes it without your permission.
And obviously, in this instance, the video that we're talking about, I mean, the guy got carjacked with a gun in the car. I mean,
Right.
obviously, he's not going to have any liability for, I mean, guy pointed a gun in my face. What do you want me to do?
Exactly.
I got out of the car. I wish that gun had been on his person instead, and he had many opportunities to counter ambush. Anyways, he didn't. That's fine. I'm not angry at him. But I think no liability for their conduct, but you do have liability for your own negligence and your own recklessness. So lock your stinking car. Lock the gun
Right.
up in the car if you have to. And the other
Absolutely.
thing, again, that gun, if it's sitting in your glove box, is not helpful to you. So if possible, leave this stupid thing on your person. Terry, I appreciate the knowledge.
Thank you.